see how big of baseline bullies we can be as we review Skechers' new tennis shoe, the Baseline Bully.
This is my first Skechers tennis-specific shoe. I have play tested a couple pickleball shoes from them, and so I kind of had an idea of what to expect. Now, when it comes to the fit, I found it to be a standard length, so I stayed in my true size. I found it to offer a pretty generous toe box and then a medium width in the midfoot and the heel. When it came to arch support, I was a big fan of their arch technology in their pickleball shoes, and I'm really glad they brought it into their tennis shoes as well, because my arches felt fully supported. Probably one of the best arch supports in tennis shoes on the market today. Now, when it came to comfort, I really like the plush underfoot cushioning that's all the way from the heel to the forefoot. It's nice and plush and comfortable. And then the upper is also soft as well. My one negative with the comfort would be the slip-in technology that they offer. While I think it's really great for casual shoes, for me in a tennis shoes, it doesn't quite make sense. I still, when I slipped my foot in, would have to retie my laces, and that heel cup is a little bit stiff, and so I could feel that throughout the play test. Now, for the other things that this Baseline Bully did well, I thought it offered great support and stability. If I had one small knock, I would ask for an extra eyelet just to get slightly more locked in, but I felt like for the most part, I was very stable in these shoes. Traction, durability, both of those things were top-notch for me. And now the one negative I had was the weight of these shoes. Now, I don't mind a heavier feeling shoe, but these felt heavy and clunky, and I didn't feel very smooth transitioning, so I was a little bit slow moving around. Overall, I think players looking for a really comfortable shoe, maybe slightly wider, and that offers everything else, should check out the Baseline Bully.
I thought the Baseline Bully did everything really well. When we first got this one in, I was shocked with how much technology is in this shoe and was excited to get this on my feet and play test it. The first thing that I noticed is it is a bit heavier than what I would like. Because of that, I wouldn't recommend it to top players looking to be as speedy as possible that are playing tons of tournaments, just because it did feel a tiny bit bulky. But from there, I had a really positive experience. I found that my feet really sunk into the cushioning. Sometimes I felt I was too low into this shoe because that cushioning does really just hold your feet nicely. But as far as fit, it fit my feet perfectly. And as Brittany mentioned, that arch support is really nice. As a playtester with high arches, this is one of the few shoes that actually I can feel the arch support under my higher arches. So if that's something that's important to you, definitely look for the Baseline Bully. Durability was insane. I was shocked how durable this shoe was. I would come off the court after a couple hours and look for some wear and tear, but my outsoles are remaining really positively strong, so I think this is gonna be a great durable option. And then as far as traction, it does have a little bit of that stickier feel, and I actually noticed a little bit of a sound that sounded a little bit different, kind of like a wrestling sound when I was moving. Just something that I had to get used to as we play tested this one. But all in all, I think this is gonna be a solid shoe, great for those club ladies out there looking for something that's gonna be comfortable. You can wear it for hours of the day, and it's gonna last forever. So enjoyed this play test.
I had really similar experiences to both Michelle and Brittany, but I do have a different foot type, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about how they fit my wider feet off the start. When I first slipped them in, I felt the toe box was nice and generous, but I was feeling a little bit of squeeze through the midfoot. I do have wider feet all the way through the midfoot area, so I wore them actually for a couple hours around the office before I decided to head down on the court. So after about 2 hours of wearing them casually and then 1 hour on the court, I felt like that tightness I was getting through the midfoot started to subside, and I was no longer feeling really squeezed through that area. So I'd say about a 3-hour break-in period for my wider feet. I also really liked the arch support in these. I do have lower arches, but I do typically wear arch insoles with some nice arch support because I do like to feel supported. So it is very noticeable on my lower arches, but very comfortable, and I like that feel. Underfoot cushioning is excellent, which I think Skechers is really known for. It really could feel it in the heel as well as on the forefoot, running around on the hard courts that I play in. Like Brittany, I also had some issues with the heel feeling rather stiff. I know it's for that slip-in technology, but I prefer to tie my tennis shoes every time I wear them because I like to cinch them up each time I play to the level of support that I like. I also wished for, even though I feel like because the heel was stiffer feeling, I wasn't getting quite that cinched up feeling I like around the ankles, so I too wished for a bit of one more eyelet so I could pull it even tighter around my ankles. Traction wise, I always felt sure of foot. I do think they're a bit stickier than slick, but I had no issues feeling stuck on court. They're very durable. I thought that the uppers also allowed for some breathability. They did feel a little bit heavier on court, but I think that you're getting some good support and stability as well as durability. Overall, I think players who are looking for a well-cushioned shoe as well as some good arch support should check out the Baseline Bully.
Skechers is famous for creating some of the most comfortable shoes on the market, so going into this playtest, I had no doubt that these shoes will be super comfortable as well. When I first put them on, I right away noticed that amazing comfort levels under my foot. You can see how the outsole is kind of thick, so a lot of that contributes to that soft plush feeling on the feet, which honestly was one of my favorite parts of this playtest. As far as sizing, the shoes fit me just right. I didn't have to change my typical sizing, but I will say that it took a while for me to get used to just how kind of bulky these shoes are. You can see how the back kind of comes out a bit longer than what I'm normally used to, and also the front. Just overall the shoe is a bit longer than what I'm used to, and I kind of felt like I was wearing something way bigger than my typical size, so it just required a bit of time for me to get used to. Support-wise, honestly, these shoes were exceptional. I definitely enjoyed them moving around on court, and I always felt nice and locked in, especially thanks to these elastic straps around my ankle, which allowed me to lock my feet in nicely with the laces. I thought that was a really cool feature of the shoe. Then I also thought that the midsole was the perfect blend of comfort and support and also responsiveness. I felt this bouncy sensation under my feet, which was really cool. Durability wise, I barely saw any wear on the outsole or the upper, so I think these shoes will hold up really nicely on court. However, I do think these shoes are a bit overbuilt. They're just a bit too heavy for my liking. They just have a lot of material going on, and I definitely felt like they were slowing me down on court a little bit, but that could be just my personal preference. So all in all, if you're a player who is looking for something very comfortable, supportive and durable, and you don't mind that heavier, bulkier sensation on your feet, definitely check this one out. Thank you for watching. For more information on these shoes and the others, please go check out Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.